Hey there. I'm thinking about looking after animals and the pets in our house and those who are outside or in the barn. Each animal needs different kind of care. The bag of dog food, the bag of cat food, they look pretty similar. Bag of dog food's usually heavier because the dog's bigger, but they're in a bag. But you gotta know which one to give. The cat can't eat the dog kibble that's so big. Not very easily, anyway. And the dog, well, the dog might really like the cat food, but it's not as good for them. Cats and dogs need different kinds of stuff to be healthy. So we've got to give the cat food, the dog food. And if you got both, you have to put the cat food someplace that the dog's not going to get it. At least we do. The dog loves the cat food. But if we think of other animals, you don't give the wild birds the cat food. When on the farm, the bird seed and the feed for the cats in the barn were in the same closed garbage can, but you took the bowl of cat food to go out with you to the barn, and you took a container of bird seed to fill the bird feeders for the wild birds. Never put the cat food in the bird feeder. And then there's those chickens. You got to give the chickens the chicken food. I suppose they could eat the wild bird seed. They probably would be okay for a while, but chickens, because they're producing eggs every day, they need something special. Wild birds lay their eggs in the spring. They might over a summer lay 2 sets of eggs, but they aren't laying every day. So the chickens, they need that extra calcium. And I remember once, oh my goodness, we were feeding leftovers from a church dinner and I think lots of a bucket of peas. And as people, we could only eat so many peas before and there was lots of peas left over. Somebody hadn't counted right. So somebody said, well, feed it to your chickens. I did, but there were too many. And the eggs for a couple of days were so soft. They were no good. The chickens needed the calcium, and those peas had none. So I learned, keep giving the chickens the chicken food. Chickens do get their own food too. I mean, they scramble around and they look and they eat bugs and stuff. But with the food we give them, we have to try to keep that balanced. In the barn, we let our chickens run free in the barn. The hens run free in the barn at one point, and so they would find the grain that was just piled up to be fed to the sheep, and they would sometimes eat that. But mostly they knew enough to eat their specific food that was in their pen. But again, don't give the ewes the chicken food, because again, it's not going to have the right balance. The ewes needed the hay, and they needed grain for the extra energy, and you had to pay attention depending on what time of the year it was or what was going on. They had baby lambs that they were feeding, or they were still gestating the baby lamb, and you had to watch and make sure that they got the right food for what they needed at the time. Looking after animals is hard. You gotta keep thinking about it. I remember when growing up, we only had a dog, and it wasn't my responsibility to really look after the dog. I paid attention to the dog, took the dog for walks, but my mother was responsible for looking after the dog. But once you have a whole bunch of animals, and once we're trying to be part of looking after them, you got to think about it. You got to know what the animal needs. for me, that was an important lesson in looking after people too, because we don't give what we want to give. We have to pay attention to what the other needs. And it's a good lesson that I try to remember with people too. Looking after my family, I don't just give them what I want to give them. I give them what they need. And I don't just give them what they want me to give them, because that would have a really full drawer of ice cream in the freezer. I give them what they need. A little bit of ice cream. More peas. And then I also recognize that what I don't have, I can't give. And sometimes there's a limit to what we can give. Sometimes we can't give even all that we think that we should. We have to just do what we can. We can't take the dog for as much walk as the dog would like, because with the dogs I've known, they could walk outside all day. Now, sometimes we can just let the dog go and let the dog take itself for a walk. But still, the point is, we can only do what we can do. And that's true with other people too. There are things that our our brothers, sisters, our parents would like that we can't do, because there's only so much time in a day, only so much energy, and we need something for ourselves. And most of us need some alone time too. And the thing that living on the farm taught me was, that's okay, because that's the way it is. I'm not making up the limits. It's the way it is. So, I hope you're enjoying the animals in your life and enjoying looking after them. Hope you're enjoying the people in your life and looking after them as you can. But I hope that you're enjoying you too, and that you're looking after you, because what you need matters too. And when I think of Jesus, he always, in all of the stories, paid attention to who was there in front of him and what they needed. And he also sometimes went up the hill by himself or with just a couple of people to take the time he needed away. So, be well. We'll talk again.